Okay, let's try the Coolsky DC-9-30 for the first time with our first officer from courtesy of MCE, which is fantastic. A little flow and procedure that that I've created. I've tried to follow what comes with the aircraft. So we've got a safety and power on procedure where the battery will be turned on, make sure the air packs are off. The cabin altitude control lever will be moved to auto, which is a really neat feature. We can see the myriad of knobs and stuff in here. So that's your cabin altitude lever. So the first officer can actually move that on voice command, which is fantastic. Hydraulic pumps, they'll get moved as well. All voice controlled. You don't just have to follow the flow. You can ask you don't have to ask the first officer to follow a flow. You can actually ask command by command if you wish to have an interaction a little bit more direct with your first officer. And then we go through fire detection. Then we'll ask our first officer to set up the aircraft for electrical power and set up the air conditioning as well. He'll go through the APU startup procedure, the bleed air, check, turn the voltmeter switches to the correct values, yaw dampers, emergency lights armed, the air conditioning packs, the aileron servos will also get moved to the correct position, ready for you to go. Brake selectors, make sure that the elevator and aileron trims and rudder trims are set to 0. Transponder checks, and even reset the master caution. Once we've done that, I'll bypass the originating receiving checklist for now because it's rather long. But trust me, the whole thing works, and it really complements what you're trying to do. It's all as per the documentation that comes with the Coolsky DC-9. Then we'll go into before start procedure, push and start. We'll run through the before start checklist. We'll start the engines after start flow, and thanks to a real life captain of the DC-9, I've actually added a little flow on departure where we can actually get the first officer to actually set their fuel tanks for outbound legs. So they used to alternate the fuel pumps for one leg, the inboards, the next leg, the others, etc., etc. So all that has been created, and again, you can ask the first officer to do it, or you can request it command by command yourself. You're in complete command, in complete control, which is the fun part about it. Simon requests refueling.
No problem. Charlie, Charlie.
What can I assist you with?
We're waiting for fuel truck.
Thanks to the direct interaction between MC and
Fuel truck will be here shortly, gentlemen.
GSX, we can also control our ground crew via our voice command. So we'll just request the fuel truck to come. This is Brisbane International Airport in Australia, gate 38, and here comes our trusty little truck. So once this comes in place, we get the usual menu to put fuel, and let's get going. Set electrical power and air conditioning.
Will handle the power up low. APU doors auto. APU air bleed selected off. Start pump on. Fuel pump right aft on, aft right on. APU starter available now. Start pump off. APU air bleed switched on. voltmeter set. Connecting APU generator. Connecting left utility bus. RAM air switch off. Radio set. Yaw damper on. Emergency lights armed. Left air compact auto. Right air compact auto. AP aileron servo on. AP servo elevator on. AP rudder servo on. Brakes system is set to both. Setting elevator trim to green range. Selecting rudder trim to neutral. Selecting aileron trim to 0. No smoke lights. Switched on. Fasten seatbelt signs selected off. Master caution button pressed. Aircon and power up complete.
Okay, we're all done. Now we just check the APU power level, the battery voltage, general the electrical system. Again, everything the first officer did, I can just not ask him to do an electrical power and air conditioning flow. I can just simply say APU doors auto, APU bleed air off, start pump on, start the APU, APU bleed air on, etc., command by command, and he'll do them each by line by line. So how much control you want and how much interaction you want it's up to you, or you can just pick and choose. You're in control, which is the best part about it. We will bypass the great big checklist, which is originating receiving checklist, and we'll go to the before start procedure. Before start procedure.
Okay, performing before start low. Resetting used fuel counters. Fasten seatbelt signs on. Meter selector and heat to captain. Window heat on as per command. Fuel all fuel pumps. Done with before start low.
Cockpit to ground.
Yeah, Captain?
Ground
What can I do for you?
Push back to the left.
Departure check completed. Live has been inserted. Release parking brake.
Release parking brake.
Okay, parking brake released.
Push. All engines clear. Start that wheel.
Push and start flow.
Get ready for push. Beacon lights on. Engine start ignition is set to both. left, air compact, switched off, right, air compact, off as per command. Isolation valve, left, switched on. Isolation valve, right, selected, on. Ready for push and start.
Start engine 2.
Sure, start switch engaged. Engine 2. Start valve open, engine 2.
Rotation.
N2. Fuel flow, engine 2. Starter cutout, engine 2.
Okay, we got a good start. Last for engine 1. Start engine 1.
Yep, starting engine number 1. Start valve open, engine 1.
Rotation.
N2. Fuel flow, engine 1.
Set parking brakes.
Set parking brake.
Parking brake, set. Starter cutout, engine 1.
After start flow.
Performing after start, low. Engine start, ignition is set to off. Isolation valve left, turned off. Isolation valve right, selected off. Left, air compact, auto. Right, air compact, auto.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass main removed.
Engaged. Auxiliary hydraulic pump on. Hydraulic pump is set to high. Hydraulic pump is set to high. Lights to strobe and steady. Master caution button pressed.
Left is clear.
Take it easy.
Right is clear.
Ground, you may disconnect now.
Okay, about to disconnect. I wish you a pleasant flight, boss.
Done with after start. Low.
After start checklist.
Want to initiate a checklist? Okay, Captain. After start. Checklist. Enunciator. Panel.
Checked.
Ignition.
Off.
Engine. Anti-ice.
Off.
Electrical system.
Checked.
Air. Condition. Supply.
Auto.
Hydraulic system.
Checked.
Door. Lights and lock.
Checked. Checked.
I do confirm, Captain. Checked. Having said that, checklist answer is it's supposed to be on after start. Checklist complete.
Flight controls check.
Ready for the flight control check. Control stick. Right, right, aileron up, left, aileron down. Control wheel. Left, left, aileron up, right, aileron down. Control stick centered. Elevator up. Elevator down. Elevator pitch centered. Rudder. Full deflection right. Rudder. Full deflection left. Rudder. Centered. Flight controls checked for free movement. Skipper.
Set com 122.8.
Yeah, come 1. 122.8.
set nav 1 109.9.
Nav 1 109.9.
Set transponder code 2200.
Transponder code 2200. Done.
Flaps 5.
Flaps 5 selected.
Release parking brake.
Sure. Parking brake released.
Departure runway is 01.
Runway 1.
Taxi procedure.
Get ready for taxi. APU. Setting rudder trim 20. Setting aileron trim 2. Neutral. Anti-skid enabled. Taxi lights on as per command. Engine start. Ignition is set to both. Voltmeter set. Disconnecting APU generator. APU air bleed turned off. APU off as per command. Taxi procedure APU complete.
Okay, we just asked the first officer to set up taxi procedure without APU. You can set up your own and ask for to have both APU taxi procedure with APU on or without APU. It's up to you. You're in complete control of this, or you don't ask for a procedure. Don't bother making your own. Just use the commands. In that last procedure, I mean, all you had to do was say rudder trim 0, set aileron trim to 0. You're not restricted to certain words and phrases. This is not recorded. Things don't happen at the same time every single flight, so you end up like feeling like a parrot every single flight. You can say anti-skid on, set anti-skid on, turn anti-skid on. You know, just any combination of words, and this first officer will actually understand it. So we're ready to go now. We've got the standby horizon turned on, stabilizer trim is set, takeoff flaps are set, aircon is in the correct place. Next we're going to request a runway entry procedure where the first officer will turn on the transponder and turn the landing lights on, and we'll run through the before takeoff checklist, and away we go. This is an absolutely lovely aircraft. It's an absolute must for anyone who doesn't feel like watching a computer screen, spend 10 minutes programming, flicking the mouse on an FMC, opening up the throttles, then flicking a button that says autopilot, and then watching the pretty screen go by. You actually have to do a fair amount of work on this. It doesn't just take you from point A to point B. You have to get there. You have to get it there. There's a lot of planning that's involved on this aircraft, and it's just one of the true classics. In having a first officer with you to take control of some of the mundane, if you like, settings, in having him do as much or as little as you feel like on any particular flight. It's a tremendous asset, and there is no other add-on that actually lets you do that. And it even controls the simulation rate of your simulator, the zoom level. You can bring up menus. You can pause the simulator all by voice command, which is tremendous. Runway entry procedure.
Okay, ready to the transponder selected on. Landing lights on as per command. Taxi lights switched off. Set for takeoff.
Before takeoff checklist.
Yep, the checklist is coming. Before takeoff checklist. Standby and flight instruments.
Checked.
Definitely checked. Checked. Stab, trim and trim tabs.
Set.
Affirmative. It's set. Flaps, slats.
Blue light.
Definitely checked. Blue light. Takeoff data and EPR.
Set.
Affirmative. It's set. Takeoff warning.
Checked.
APU.
Off.
Flight controls.
Checked.
Affirmative. It's checked. Enunciator panel.
Checked.
Takeoff briefing.
Complete.
Takeoff fuel quantity.
Set.
Double checked. Set. Takeoff notification.
Complete.
Radar.
Off. Both.
Engine start. Ignition is set to both. Check that item again, will you? Before takeoff. Checklist complete.
Okay, here we go.
$80 knots. V1. Rotate. V2. Positive climb.
Gear up.
Affirmative. Gear coming up. Gear up and locked.
Flaps up.
Flaps going up selected. Flaps. I do confirm, Captain.
After takeoff flow.
After takeoff low. Aircon shut off is set to override. Hydraulic pump is set to low. Landing lights off. Engine start ignition is set to off. Deactivated. After takeoff low complete.
After takeoff checklist.
Checklist is starting now. Here we go, Captain. After takeoff checklist gear
Up. Up.
flaps slats
Up.
ignition
Lights out. Off.
Please check status for that item again. Affirmative. It's off. Fuel pumps
On.
double checked on. Aircon auto shut off.
Override.
Pneumatic.
Off.
Isolation valve left, right. Switched on. Now set. Aircon. Pressurization. Enunciator panel.
Checked.
Hydraulic system.
Checked.
After takeoff. Checklist complete.
And as you can see, this is a very, very simple setup. Part of the fun here is to actually get your first officer to do as much or as little as you like. Follow the procedures of your virtual airline or your favorite airline or favorite procedures of yourself. It doesn't matter. You are in control, and that is a very, very good little add-on to what is already a fantastic aircraft. I absolutely love the DC-9, and having a first officer to monitor also the complete panel while you're trying to do the navigation on this is an invaluable asset. So highly recommended. A lot of fun, and nothing like having an older style analog aircraft properly simulated like the Coolsky DC-9 is, and having your own virtual first officer at your disposal, well and truly at your disposal. Cheers.